Alright, so right now it's about like 4:30 a.m. Okay, I've been busy playing World of Warcraft with my friends, and I'm just catching up a little bit of me time, playing a little bit of games by the side, but I'm still looking at the market. Okay, so something crazy that's going to be happening tomorrow. Okay, by the time you watch this, chances are it's going to be about another, I think, 15 more hours or 20 more hours before the FOMC meeting drop. Okay, right now as we are speaking in this video right now, the FOMC meeting is going on as it is. And then Jerome Powell is going to come out with a statement tomorrow at 3 a.m. Singapore time. And of course, in the US, I think it's about like, I don't know, 7:30, 8:30, I don't know, okay? But in Singapore time, it's going to be 3 a.m. And afterwards, I'm going to be coming out with a summary video for you guys to talk about what Jerome Powell actually talked about. But first, we have to talk about the expectation for what this FOMC is going to be about. But before that, I feel that I need to give you guys some form of a context of what is going to be going on for all this expectation I have in my mind. Okay, so first off, we have to talk about inflation. Okay, clearly the previous CPI, well, the latest CPI that we had, didn't really give us any really good data to really step forward on. Okay, which is very, very concerning because that is also something that the Federal Reserve is going to be looking on as well. Which is why in the previous CPI data as well, the moment we said about the CPI, we already know for a fact that the Federal Reserve is going to be raising rates by 75 basis point. And you know, as we all think that 75 basis point is definitely in the air, there are also a different party of people who think that a 50 basis point hike would be possible, simply because the federal funds rate right now is really too damn high at the moment. And if this actually continues, all these rate hikes that we have been doing in the past year is going to start to show a snowballing effect in 2023. So how this actually works out? Okay, I'm pretty sure I've talked about this on my channel a lot of times as it is. How all these policies actually come about. When they actually increase by a 50 basis point increment, a 75 basis point increment, and so on and so forth, when this actually happens, okay, it usually takes about 6 to 7 months for them to actually take effect. So for example, if today we are going to be raising rates by 75 basis point increment, and next year, on the May of 2023, maybe then we'll see inflation jut down a little bit because of this increment today. That's kind of how the policy is going to be working. It's not an instantaneous sort of thing. We kind of have to wait it out a little bit and then kind of just see how the policy actually take place in the whole macro economy. Okay, so right now what we are concerned about is that the Federal Reserve actually raising rates too hawkishly to the point where we might go through a level of deflation to the point where we might actually destroy the whole entire economy and destroy the United States dollar. Personally, I feel that that's very hard to be the case, simply because right now what they are trying to do is force a recession, or at least they can try their best to force a recession. According to Jerome Powell, I can tell you one of the expectations that he's going to be talking about tomorrow is that the jobs market is very tight. Employment is strong. I don't think this is going to be an issue. We are continuing with our 75 basis point increment. Okay, personally, my expectation is going to be as it is, which is a 75 basis point increment. However, if tomorrow, when Jerome Powell, or well, the statement actually comes out to be a 50 basis point increment, that's going to change the whole entire tone for the rest of the year and also possibly the first two meetings in the FOMC for the next year as well. And here's why. Because a 50 basis point increment shows that the Federal Reserve kind of want to just kind of hold back a little bit and think that, oh, okay, you know, the basis point increment, we don't really need to keep on raising rates to that extent. Maybe we just let the rates kind of simmer in and take its effect that it should take into the market first. And only then we can actually decide, oh, you know, maybe you want to pause rates, maybe you want to drop rates, maybe you want to raise more rates. And then they can actually make the more informed decision then. Okay, which is why a 50 basis point increment can actually, you know, bring out all these possible ideas into the market. And of course, when you see a 50 basis point increment, I can assure you the SPY, your QQQ, all your indexes are all going to be going up in prices, okay? It simply means that, oh, hold on, this means that slowing down of rates or even a pausing of rates could actually be a possibility from here on out. Okay, but of course, I am still in the camp of we need to be hawkish, we need to raise rates, we need to bring down inflation. Okay, because right now inflation is still going berserk at the moment. Okay, it's still at upwards of 6%, and that's why unless we actually bring inflation down to like about 4 or 5% by the end of the year, which at the moment kind of seems impossible, but unless we actually are able to do that, I think that this FOMC is going to continuously giving us hawkish information, which is 75 basis point increment, more difficulties on the MBS mortgage-backed securities and such, more tapering on the balance sheet and such. So all these are going to be the possible concern. But of course, right now, the US dollar is so strong, and that is also a very, very bad thing for a lot of big companies out there. I also uploaded a video on Wednesday talking about the big tech's earning. Okay, and a lot of all these big tech earnings have one thing in common, which is that they are selling to a global audience as compared to just a United States audience. And that is a huge issue. Okay, and okay, I won't say that it's an issue, but this is the reason why a US dollar being so good is actually so bad. Okay, because if you're actually selling to a global audience, such as selling to China, selling to the rest of the world, selling to Europe, all of them, all the currencies are going down. However, your price would still be according to those currency as it is. So the money that you actually get in are going to get crushed by the dollar because the dollar is still going to be stronger. So other than the sales that's actually being performed in United States itself, those sales are going to be generating so-called good revenue. And everyone else are actually going down on a discounted revenue. Be it Europe, be it Asia, be it South America, whatever it is, all those people who are not using United States dollars as the main currency of purchase, they are all going to suffer the same discounted revenue for those companies. Apple, okay, Microsoft talked about this as well. Okay, Amazon talked about this a lot as well. Okay, all these people, they are doing products globally. We're not talking about just America anymore, we're talking about globally. And which is why all these companies have been kind of suffering for the past quarter. And we can also see this actually happening for the future quarter if the FOMC meeting continues to show us 75, 100 basis point. If this continues like this, it is going to be pretty bad. And that's the concern that we actually have for the stocks market. Which is why, for example, if you actually bring it down to 50 basis point or even 25 basis point, but I don't think that's going to be happening. But if we were to bring it down to 25 basis point increment, the market is going to rally because that means that the dollar might actually go down a little bit. Maybe the global currency is going to go up a little bit. Okay, maybe we are able to borrow more money a lot easier and things like that. So there's a lot of conversation to be had about this. Okay, but personally, like I said before, my expectation is still going to be at 75 basis point increment. I am very, very interested to see what Jerome Powell is going to whip up for us. I do think that he's going to talk a lot about how employment is still very, very strong. However, we do have some jobs data coming out after the FOMC meeting, which I think might actually go against what Jerome Powell says. I don't know. But anyway, I am very, very excited to see what this is going to be bringing out for us. But don't worry anyway, I will be coming out with a summary video for you guys once the FOMC is done. But anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel and so like this video because it really helps me out and let me know that you guys enjoyed this video. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching and I'll see you guys in the next one.